Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project Magnetic Reversal News and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, March 3rd, around 10 p.m. Mountain Time 2022. We are a bit late tonight, but we were waiting for the models to come in, and it's a sin. Heavy snow in North America all the way through mid-March, and if you're in Europe, you could be seeing a UK snow boom by March 10th. But the big story, not one, but two snowmakers into early next week. Rivers spill and records break as atmospheric river settles over Seattle. And hello, did you see the snow? Amazing photos document rare snowfall at Pinnacles National Park. Keep calm, it's boom time. Not one, but two snowmakers into early next week, and we're going to cover the models in just a moment. Now, according to staff, Pinnacles National Park has only seen snow a few times in the last several decades. And this is one of those rare occurrences. So what we're looking at here is some grand solar minimum activity. And here's a perfect example of that grand solar minimum activity. Rocketed by weather whiplash, South Lake Tahoe may see season high temperatures followed by snow. Ho ho, record-breaking snow potentially. Now, if you want the real facts, on this date in 1910, much of the United States was over 60 degrees, and more than 3/4 of the southern tier topped 80 degrees. Those are the purple marks. Portions of Arizona reached 100 degrees, while 90-degree temperatures were recorded in California as well. If this happened today, journalists would be hysterical. So first, let's dive into the GFS model for the United States. And we're going to walk it through for you here. Here's your Friday. That snow is going to be moving into Montana and down into the Southern Rockies, as well as the Sierras and the Cascades through Saturday. Take a look at that into Sunday. Heavy snow in the Sierras, heavy snow in all of Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and the high country. And we're going to be seeing some heavy snow. Ho, 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 here in Colorado. Take a look at that. Take a look at the models. Now, what we have to be looking for here is this snow moving through the upper Midwest into Pennsylvania. And that's going to take shape Monday into Tuesday there through Wednesday night. So Monday, Tuesday through Wednesday night, we're going to have a snow band moving through what appears to be Kansas, Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, and northern PA into the Catskills. But the good news is that the West, which is the fearmongers and the climate alarmists are talking about the massive drought, is going to be drenched in some of the global warming goodness. Now, welcome moisture in the Southwest. Multifaceted impacts spread into the central U.S. this weekend. Two storms will produce heavy mountain snow and gusty winds with some lower elevation rain in California. This system ejects into the central U.S. with widespread heavy snow and gusty winds extending from California mountains into the north and central plains. And this will be Monday, Tuesday. Severe storms may develop in the Mississippi Valley, and fire weather threats will be critical across south and central high plains. So heads up in the magenta regions where you'll be having high winds. Don't be flicking any cigarette butts out the windows. And winter storm watches and warnings in the blue and the pink. Now let's come over to Europe because the models, well, they are getting particularly interesting in Europe. Just watch them move through here. Saturday into Sunday, which is your fun day, into Monday, March 7th, Tuesday, March 8th, and take a look at what happens on the night of March 9th into the 10th here. We're in the 10th. There could be some epic record-breaking totals in the UK. Hey. Look at those totals. You've been waiting for it, and you've been wanting some of this. We have snow moving all the way down into Algeria and northern Africa, as well as Spain, Alicante region. But the big story is going to be this UK snow bomb. March 10th and 11th. We're going to keep a close eye on the models as it develops. Look at Scotland here. Could be a half a meter, for goodness sakes. Now, if you don't know, the February temperatures of the lower global atmosphere came out from Dr. Roy Spencer, and they're showing baseline 0.00 degrees C. That is the baseline for the entire model that goes back to 1979. So you can see one of the largest temperature drops in the last 2 years has just occurred. The largest in decades. The last time it occurred was back in the 90s, when they almost lost the global warming scare, but it warmed up in 2007, and Al Gore won the Nobel Peace Prize right here because we were all burning up. And now the temperature is 0.3 degrees C lower than that, decades later. Now, in case you didn't get the memo, what you're looking at is actual NOAA and NCDC reports. And the red line is the surface temperature of Earth since 1895. And the black line is CO2 concentration in the atmosphere. And what climate scientists, which is not a real scientific endeavor, have been trying to tell you, coupled with the mainstream media, is that the black line controls the red line. And I think if I got a 4-year-old here and explained to him what he was looking at, he would tell me that I was wrong. And that's all the further I'll get into that. Seismic update. No quakes of note. We have moderate activity around the Ring of Fire, but nothing unique. Potentially a little activity here in the East Rift, African Rift Zone, but nothing substantial. It could happen tomorrow. Experts know disaster upon disaster looms for the West Coast. Now, what we're talking about is the Cascadia rupture zone, followed by a massive tsunami. Tens of thousands of deaths instantly. And the second thing we're talking about is a massive transverse fault on the San Andreas. And they know it's coming. And just last week, an article coming out, History of Earthquakes Along the Creeping Section of the San Andreas Fault, California, unfortunately proves that a several hundred-mile section of it, which was once thought to be safer than the rest of it, it goes right through LA, the slow slip portion, well, is more dangerous than ever thought before. And we're putting together a podcast on magnetic reversal news on the topic, which will be out later tonight or in the morning. So check that out. Because clearly the mainstream knows what's about to happen. They're just giving you little tidbits. Worldwide volcano news update. Campi Fadegre volcano. New update coming out about inflation and weak volcanic unrest continuing in one of the supervolcano regions. Here you can see here the inflation happening, seismicity increasing, and has been increasing now for weeks. So the amount of outgassing here is indicative of a normal active volcano. And so Campi Fadegre is active and could erupt at any time. There's a little bit of a vertical uptick here in the tiltimeters, so we'll keep a close eye on it in the coming days and weeks. Now, scientists are working to unravel the mystery of a 300-year-old mummified mermaid with a human face and tail. It's pretty spectacular. A mummified mermaid said to grant immortality to whoever tastes its flesh will be probed by actual scientists in order to reveal its true nature. And Hiroshi Kishonichi says the artifact could, well, what did he say? Could have significance in Japan. Noting, it's said that if you eat the flesh of a mermaid, you will never die. Now, is this an actual mermaid? Researchers from the Kyoto Shiki University of Science and the Arts have taken the mummy for a CT scanning bid to unravel its secrets. And the secrets are, well, as creepy as they can get. Look at this critter. And what they're going to do is take a CT scan and see if they glued it together or what actually this thing may be. It looks like a big giant fish with some, well, anyway, it's pretty creepy. So stay tuned for some updates on, well, the update. What are they saying here? agree. I think it's the torso of a monkey on the back head of a fish. And that will be confirmed, well, potentially in the days to come. So stay tuned for more updates on the creepy merman fish dude.
Look over.
Not much currently going on with space weather. We do have some sunspots currently moving across the disk, some C flares, low-level M flares, nothing significant, nothing threatening our infrastructure. And for increasing into solar cycle 25, these are some pathetic sunspots on the sun. The activity is quite low after people have been claiming the activity is quite high, the exact opposite of what's actually happening. I wonder why that's going on. Why are people pushing the narrative that cycle 25 is going to be so much bigger than 24? There is no evidence of that currently. In fact, there's evidence that that's exactly the opposite of what's happening. So we're keeping a close eye on the sun for you. Shocking. Asteroid was set to hit the Earth, says ESA. Then this happened. There was actually a huge asteroid the size of a 10-story building headed to Earth on July 4th, 2023, with certainty that it would wreak havoc and destroy an entire region of the planet. But things have recently changed. And because they changed, they're now allowing us to know the information. Isn't that crazy? Well, anyway, should take heed here and read the article. ESA was tracking an asteroid which was going to hit the Earth. Yes, you read that right. It was going to hit the Earth July 4th, 2023, and cause massive destruction to the local area of impact. But upon further observation in February of this year, asteroid 2022 AE1 has become the latest mystery for astronomers and scientists at the European Space Agency. The situation around the asteroid was very concerning. The chances of the 200 feet wide asteroid, for reference, as large as a 20-story building, double the size, hitting our planet was increasing after the first 7 days of observation, according to ESA. Now, after that, the scientists were kept in the dark for a week as the moon made its way between the asteroid and Earth, and due to its luminescence, made it impossible to observe it. Now, 2022 AE1. Once the moon moved away and the astronomers observed the asteroid again, it turned out that the chances of an impact had drastically decreased, to the point at where it had now been removed from ESA's risk list. Well, apparently they don't know about the electrical nature of these objects and how easily they can be moved and perturbed by electric fields, solar outbursts, and other things. But we do, which is why you're watching the channel. Now, we have some space junk on a 5,800 mile per hour collision course with the moon, and it's not Elon Musk's spent third stage rocket. In fact, it's probably from China. But of course, Chinese officials are dubious. Now, this object has been tumbling haphazardly through space after it was detected less than a year ago. And the moon is about to get walloped by 3 tons of space junk, a punch that will carve out a crater that could fit several semi-trailers within. The leftover rocket will smash into the far side of the moon at 5,800 miles per hour on Friday, away from telescopes and prying eyes, because it is on the far side of the moon. It may take weeks or even months to confirm the impact through sat images. What say you? Did we land on the moon? Is China on the far side of the moon? Why can't China image it? Oh yeah, because we're about to go to war with China. That's why. Hello. I wish I was there. Confirmed.
So pretty deep.
Wow, Wow, they were about to speak Chinese there. Old Stone Age culture discovered in China. Have you heard? We've been reporting on all the major discoveries, all the discoveries happening during cosmic catastrophe cycle times. This is amazing. Now, artifacts from a newly excavated site include tiny stone tools. Scientists discovered remnants of an old Stone Age culture. And this was less than 100 miles west of Beijing, where ancient hominins used a reddish pigment called ochre and crafted tiny blade-like tools from stone. The archaeological site called Xianbei offers a rare glimpse into the life of Homo sapiens, and now extinct human relatives who inhabited the region 40,000 years ago. They don't know who made these tools or the red ochre, but what is clear is that this was a manufacturing plant where they were manufacturing the ochre 40,000 years ago. And if you know and watch Robert Seffer and the red ochre people and about all the red ochre all around the world, and then the Piri Reis map, well, you can come to some of your own conclusions that there have been advanced civilizations on this earth, time and time again, getting wiped out at the flexure points of the Iron Cross, the cosmic catastrophe cycle. Yes, every 26,000 years, we make a full revolution on the clock with 4 catastrophes occurring at regular intervals. The major intervals happening every 12,900 years, including the onset of the Younger Dryas, 12.9, and the current flexure point we're living on now, 0 point. And the last 0 point, we had the onset of the Wisconian Ice Age. The one prior to that, a large ice event called the Heinrich event, Osis 1415. And then 2 cycles before that, we had the Overade events and the Greenland Blitz. This is when the ice forms, kids. Today, geologically speaking. Are you prepared? Possible Kilonova explosion leaves an epic afterglow. And they don't even know what a Kilonova explosion is. They just make shit
Visit Chandra's beautiful universe. GW 170817. On August 8, 2017, scientists using gravitational wave detectors in the United States and Europe picked up a new signal. This object, which became known as GW 170817, became the first time that gravitational waves and electromagnetic radiation, or light, were seen from the same source. Astronomers soon classified the burst of light as a kilonova, resulting from the merger of some of the densest objects in the universe. There were many telescopes that observed light from GW 170817 in the hours and days immediately after the gravitational waves were detected. Most of those signals have faded away. NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory is the only observatory still able to detect light from this extraordinary cosmic collision more than 4 years after the original event. What have astronomers seen in the Chandra data? Right after the initial LIGO detection was announced, scientists requested that Chandra quickly pivot from its current target to GW 170817. At first, they did not see any X-rays from this source, but about 9 days later, Chandra looked again and found a point source of X-rays. This non-detection of X-rays, quickly followed by a detection, provides evidence for a narrow jet of high-energy particles produced by the neutron star merger. The jet is off-axis, that is, not pointing directly toward Earth. Researchers think that Chandra originally viewed the narrow jet from its side, and therefore saw no X-rays immediately after the gravitational waves were detected. However, as time passed, the material in the jet slowed down and widened as it slammed into surrounding material. This caused the cone of the jet to begin to expand more into...
These people have lost their f***ing mind. from this tiny picture here. Let me just bring you up to speed here. They want you to believe that from this image,
More than 4 years.
They've extrapolated all that rest of the gobbledygook, all that fantasy scientism nonsense. From a dull glow and a glow, they got all that other shit. Whew. I hope you're picking up what we're putting down, because it's deep. And I got boots on. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Be safe. The narrative is thickening, and it's sickening.